Maria Callas, whose passion, whose bel canto, whose triumphs and traumas on and off the stage have transfixed legions of devoted followers for a generation. Maria Callas is making a comeback. The New York-born Greek prima donna hadn't sung in public for 8 years when she began her world comeback tour in Germany 3 months ago. Since then, in Madrid, in Paris, in London, she has enchanted audiences, though the critics have been less than kind. This month, with tenor Giuseppe Di Stefano, she sings a series of comeback concerts here in the United States, in New York, Boston, Washington. A few weeks ago, 60 Minutes visited at her apartment in Paris. Tell me, how does it feel to sing again now after 8 years?
Very nice. I wish I was what I was 20 years ago, but nobody is what he was 20 years ago.
What aren't you today that you were 20 years ago?
The acrobats and the top notes as they used to be, and, you know, the fireworks that a young person has. But on the other hand, you have acquired other qualities.
And those other qualities are?
They're appreciated by the public. Well, interpretation even more. The personality, it appears, has gained more. And
yes.
Why kick that?
That's correct.
The voice should be a consequence of what you happen to do on stage. In other words, instead of speaking, you're singing. So the voice should be a weapon, a better way of speaking, but you should not be a servant to the voice. The voice should serve the person that you are on stage.
Opera aficionados have gathered at La Scala for centuries, rubbing shoulders with the Milanese gentry who foot its huge costs. Callas became a prima donna here at 28, built a brilliant career to become La Scala's highest-paid diva and the most controversial. Season after season, Callas sang Puccini, Rossini, Bellini, and particularly Verdi. Always the businesswoman, she refused to let us film her singing unless we paid her an exorbitant amount. Madame Callas last heard bravos in any opera house in July of 1965. Although the public continued to buy her records, she became less a performing diva, more a heroine of the tabloids and the gossip columns. But there was a grain of truth in every headline. The Dolce Vita became her lifestyle.
Many newspaper man has put into my mouth what I have not said. And that is the only unhappy part of being famous, because the rest is very nice. I confess that I'm very happy with my situation. Sometimes it's non-privacy, but this is not a normal life that one says you don't like. It's marvelous. The public gives you respect and love, so goodness, I mean, But they have put into my mouth things that I really have never said.
You know, you talk about misquotation, Madame Callas. One of the most famous of the quotations, and I suppose it's a misquotation, or maybe not.
No, I have the courage to tell you if it's not.
All right, all right. And that has to do with your mother. You said, "Mother can go to work, she is young enough."
No, I've never said that.
You did not say that.
No. That was Time magazine, a certain de Carvalho, who wanted to be very smart. So he had to create probably a story, a sensational story. As a matter of fact, I have never spoken against my mother. Though I could have. Frequently, I could have said, well, I could have justified myself.
She
but
drove
if
you.
if I do, then I speak against my mother. So it's not for the public that I don't want to speak against my mother. It's for my own sake. I want to be in peace with myself. My mother has a right to say anything she wants, pro or against me.
To cut her off completely, though. I'm just saying you did not want to see her.
Because at a certain moment, she used blackmail, unfortunately. And I don't like blackmail by anybody.
How do you mean blackmail?
Well, I mean, she says, you either give me this and that, otherwise I'll plaster you against all the newspapers, and that she did. But I cannot give in to...
Let me give you a year, 1958, which seems to have been a watershed year for Callas. In that year, you walked out in Rome.
I was sick. I won the lawsuit, remember?
Yes, you did, but you walked out in Rome.
Well,
you got into a fight with Girangeli.
No, there was no fight with Girangeli.
Well,
that was my husband's.
I see.
Unfortunately.
All right. In any case, you were barred from La Scala that year. Then came Bing, a fight, and you were barred from Metropolitan.
Many people have fought with Bing.
Then
and yet we're very good friends.
I know. Then you broke up with your husband, and you took up
Thank
with...
heavens I did.
And you took up with Onassis. All of this...
What's wrong with that?
Not at all, but I... And you say, where is all the drama? 1958 alone had enough drama for a lifetime.
Well, I find that very interesting. There's no drama.
Excuse me, lousy performances.
Madame Callas was dramatically fired from New York's Metropolitan Opera with a telegram. Former Met director Sir Rudolph Bing explains.
There came the point where I had to decide, now is Madame Callas running the Met or am I running the Met? And at that time, I was still running the Met and said so, and canceled our agreement.
So you really did fire Maria Callas from the Metropolitan?
If you want to use that ugly word, that is so, yes. I don't think Maria Callas isn't fired. Maria Callas is severed of a relationship.
Barred from the Met and at odds with other American companies, Callas went back to Europe. She toured the continent in triumph, usually directed by Franco Zeffirelli.
She always manages to make such a different combination than the other singers do. She does a blend, which is unique of Callas. Other singers might have better voice or might have better looks. No one acts better than she does. That's already a unique thing she has. But the combination of these three elements put together make Callas a unique experience for any. And you are so overwhelmed, so bewitched by what she offers to you. A great dramatic experience through music, through singing.
Obviously, you've had a great success in your professional life. Your private life has not perhaps been as successful, no?
No. No.
Why?
Well, why? Probably I became a bit too famous for my own good. And while maybe also I put men on a pedestal. I thought my husband was better than what I thought he was. Fame also goes to the head of the people near you, not to your own self, oddly enough. So fame went to his head. I became too famous. He never expected me to become, and therefore he reacted very badly. And
then with Mr. Onassis?
And then with Mr. Onassis, we had a wonderful life. I don't regret every bit of it. I do regret when I stopped singing. But on the other hand, as I say, I've had a wonderful man. I didn't marry, which was the most intelligent thing to do, because one marries once only. One makes that mistake only once.
Yes.
There was one thing, I can indulge in that. Personalities, when there are two strong personalities, at a certain moment, my being sweet and, shall we say, under under the man in the sense of having him always command, though a man should not command, because a real man does not have to command.
Mm. But when he left, did you feel that you had given...
He didn't go.
He didn't
go. We had just decided that that I would resume my own life.
Ah.
That is the real truth.
Were you happy to see him marry Jacqueline Kennedy?
I was happy to see, I would be happy to see him happy under any circumstances. And if he's happy with Jackie, I'm more than happy for him. On my life, you can't say I was disorderly in my life. I had a husband, then I had a lover, and that's that. So, generally...
Wait just a second. You had a husband.
And I had a lover.
And you had a lover.
And that's that.
You mean no more?
Well, no, now I'm singing.
Well, now wait. No. You're 50 years old.
Now you're asking personal questions.
Well, no, are you saying that for the future, you've had your husband, you've had your lover?
There are not very many men that can be near me.
Why?
It's a sort of it could be a handicap to be famous.
You mean you're a man-eater?
No. No. But near you, very many interested people can be there. And I have a very active mind, and I might frighten real men away, too. I'm a strong personality. I pride myself of being a strong character with her weak points, thank heavens. But I have a strong character. I'm not just any temperamental diva that puts up a tantrum.
And it has nothing to do with the fact that you're difficult. It is mostly because you're a personality.
I think I'm not very difficult. I think that when you say no to somebody who wants you to say yes, then you become difficult. Now, a woman has to learn to say no. Otherwise, she won't be a lady. She's not a lady.
Have you said no enough, Madame Callas?
Oh, never enough, but not bad.
Have you said yes enough?
You don't have to say yes.
On the occasion of this comeback tour of yours, one critic in Germany wrote that the world tour might turn out to be a grandiose finale, or it could turn out to be an artistic tragedy.
So far, it hasn't been a tragedy.
And you don't...
I belong to the category, the difference between the ancient Greeks and me is that I don't cry on tragedies until they happen. If they happen, then I don't cry on the tragedies. I cope with them.